I mean, just let this sink in, right? I could do 1 load a week. And on average, I can do 20 to 40 a week. You know what I'm saying? And so, well, 1 week. It might be 2 loads, but in 1 week I could do those type of numbers. So more often than not, now my home time is great. I'm home. I can pick my daughter up and bring her to school, and and go to all her events and take field trips. And that's what you're working for, right? To get to that level of comfort where you can literally relax and be that father you want to be.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's more my focal point. I am looking to grow. I'm looking to add on and continue, because at some point I have to get from behind the wheel. But I do want to grind until I'm 50. I'll be 42 next month, so I got 8 more years. I'll put that time in. And then from there, look, I want to go on vacation while I'm on vacation after that. You know what I'm saying? People like, what does that mean? Like, I want to go to Africa for a month. And while I'm in Africa, I want to take a trip to Spain for a week. You see what I'm saying? So that's vacation while you're on vacation.
You want to live.
Yeah, I want to live. Yeah, and I could do it now, but I still got work to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good, but my kids are not good.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? What my wife and I require, I got 5 now with the one coming. So, splitting what 2 have for 5, that's a whole different ballgame, you know? So, but other than that, man, I love what I do. Heavy haul is great, bro. It's a great industry. I just tell people, definitely learn what you need to learn. Get in those permit books and learn them. Stop using these permit agencies, and no disrespect to them. I know they're trying to feed their family, but everyone's not going to take this advice. But for those who will, learn the permit system. Learn all the rules. You don't have to run all 48 connected states to make your money, because when you get to the level I'm at, it's so much homework you have to do. You're not going to want to do it for all states unless that load pushes you to that limit. So in other words, let's just say going to Cali is a $100,000 load. But if I could do 100 right here in the time that it takes me to go to Cali, why do I want to go to Cali for the money when I'm going to make it right here?
Right.
Okay. So now what I mean by pushing me, they might add another 50. I'm going to Cali.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm on my way. So now I have to do that homework. And I've done oversized loads all over Midwest. I've been to Cali with loads all up and down the East Coast. I would say highest for the type of loads that I'm doing now would be Maryland, the DMV area, Baltimore, Washington, stuff like that.
Okay.
And man, I've been successful. I can't complain. Like, I sit here feeling totally content and appreciating your platform.
No doubt. Well, I still want to get into some more stuff. I'm gonna pick your brain a little bit.
Let's get it.
All right. So first of all, you said learn the permit system. Where do you learn that?
Trial and error. Like, okay, so initially, this is what people have to understand about permits. You are doing the work. Right. Okay. What does permit entail? Measurements, right? Who's taking those measurements? You are. Okay, what you're doing is you're doing all the work, and then you're handing it to someone, because you're saying basically, I don't feel confident enough to go on this computer and learn that software. Now, I break it down into those little small nuances because I want them to understand how simple the process is.
Right.
Okay, what do? You call that state. Hey, I want to start a permit account. What's required? You tap in with them. They tell you this is the requirement. Submit this. We'll activate your account. We'll send you something in your email when it's done. It'll take, it may take an hour. Some may take 24. No problem. They send you back a username and a password. Okay. Now you go into it and you play with the computer. Learn it. Master it. At that point, people say, man, Joe, why would I want to do that? Well, last time I checked, the cheapest companies are charging you $33 a permit. The more expensive is charging you upwards of $50, right? So you're paying $50, and that's per state. So if you do 5 states at $50 a state, yeah, you sounding like you rich, but you giving money away. Like, money, that's like, to me, that's crazy. More often than not, you know in advance what the load is, what the dimensions is, and things of that sort. I talked to a friend of mine. He's out of Miami, right? He was in Texas, and I won't say his name because I won't put him out there like that, but he was in Texas, and he was like, yo, Joe, I had to reorder all permits. And I'm like, how do you do that? He was like, well, it was Thursday. I picked the load up on Friday, and I had to order all my permits. And I think he ordered them on Thursday, but he was traveling through on Friday. And I'm like, yo, well, permit offices weren't closed on Friday. How do you, like, that didn't even make sense. Like, he had to explain to me how he did that. He was like, yo, the permit agency ordered all my permits. I said, so let this sink in. You picked up a machine. They gave you dimensions. When you made it to the machine, you remeasured to confirm what they gave you. But because you had ordered permits in advance, now you're stuck with those permits. So Louisiana, that permit could have been $1,300. For the same permit, that could have been $280. Well, if you're paying $1,300, you're pretty heavy. So at that point, you're probably paying $360 in Texas. That same permit in Mississippi, if you're going a certain direction because it's by the mile, could be anywhere from $200 to $1,000 as well. So just let that sink in the money, right, that you just spent, and you pre-ordered it for something you never seen.
We are here live at OTR Solutions HQ. I'm here with my partner, Jonathan. Man, listen, factoring is an integral part of the transportation industry. Why is factoring important?
Absolutely, Ramel. In this economy, in this market, cash flow is king. Cash flow is the key to growth. If you have a young trucking company, or if you've been in the industry for years and you want to take that business to the next level, we're absolutely a company that can help. We're a factoring provider that was born in trucking. So that's all we do. We focus, live, breathe the trucking industry. We offer fuel card solutions, freight through our partners at DAT, insurance, really any need that you have, we should have a solution to help you with it. So I hope you'll give us a call today. Let us know what we can do to help you out.
Get the rest and roll with the best. Let's go.
But this is the thing, if you were ordering them yourself, what you could have done was, if you're picking up in Texas, order the Texas one as soon as you get there. As soon as you pull up, measure, order. If it take them 2 hours to get you the permit, because you must know each state and how long it takes them to give you a permit. Texas, you can get the permit on a computer instantly. Why would you ever pre-order it? Louisiana, instantly. Mississippi, instantly. Alabama, within 2 hours. Georgia, instantly. Florida, you do it online yourself. It's instantly. South Carolina, 48 hours. If you don't do the permits yourself, you don't know this information. So now you're less likely to be successful. People want to know what creates success, knowledge, right? So become more knowledgeable. With the permit system, if you ordered Texas when you got there, as you drive, you could be getting Louisiana done. You got 2-3 hours to the state line from Houston. Get the Louisiana one done then, because it's instantly anyway. I know that 48 hours I need to get South Carolina done, but by the time I order this permit in Texas, hell, it'd be done in 48 hours before I get to South Carolina anyway. Yeah. So you see how I'm able to plan better because I know the rules of every state? Right. That changes the game.
It does change the game. So typically most guys just pre-order everything.
No, they don't do anything. They call a permit agency and say, here's my dimensions. I'm going through this state, that state, and that state.
And then the permit company will take
and they takes it from there, which eliminates your ability to understand. So what they say, man, South Carolina take forever. How long is forever? Well, I don't know. They take forever. No, they take 48 hours. You see what I'm saying? That's what the knowledge does for you. So when you're talking to people, you understand their level of understanding throughout the industry based off the work they put in. I didn't know nothing about none of this. Right. But because I put the work in and I wasn't afraid to fail, listen, let me mess up on one permit. I heard my guy Waz say $10,000 for a fine, right? But I'm gonna pay that $10,000 one time and it's gonna educate me forever. If it comes to that, right? Because you're not gonna get caught every time you make a mistake. I did a load to Georgia. I was being lazy. So in Georgia, if you're over 150,000 pounds, you can't use a quad axle setup. That means 4 axles for those who don't understand quad, right? So you have to use a 3+1, meaning 3 axle grouping. Those axles has to be so close for it to be considered a group. Then from there, you have a stinger. That stinger has to be so far away from those 3 to not be included in the group, okay? If you're under 150,000 pounds, you can pin all 4 together, remove the stinger, and go with it. I was lazy one day. I ordered permits for Georgia, or I went to order permits for Georgia, and I had a 4-axle group and at 153,000 pounds. They tell me, nah, you're not getting a permit. You're not coming in our state. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all how I cleaned up the mess, but what I will tell y'all is this. I cleaned up the mess.
Right.
With that being said, 1 minute of being lazy can change your whole situation, because this is the thing. You might run Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, right? And you don't go to Georgia for a year. In a year, that rule could have changed, or you could be mistaken what Mississippi do for Georgia. So you have to constantly refresh your knowledge. And if you're doing what you say you're doing, which is running a company, how do you not know these things? Right. So that's why I question their knowledge. So that's why I don't get in a rat race of who's the best. I don't want to compete, man. Let's just get money and get rich.
No doubt.
Yeah. No doubt. When I see something pop up in Miami, I call my brother Wad. Look, oh, yo, they're making money. Did you see this? When he sees something pop up in my city, yo, Joe, go get that load. It's not competitive. We want to win together. We could laugh at the top like Coke and Pepsi.
No doubt,
You
no
know what I'm
doubt.
saying?
Nah, I
So-
love that. And
Yeah.
just for anybody, because we kind of started at the permits, what are those permits for? Just so everybody clearly understands what those permits do, and when you're actually, ordering them, what information are you putting in there?
Cool. Good question. Okay, so permits is for basically the safe transport of loads from one end of their state to the other, and if you're going all the way through. What it does is it gives you routing information to keep you on route. The reason why you need to be on route, real brief, if you're 15 feet and they got a 14-foot bridge, it stops you from hitting the bridge, right? It gives you a lot of information. One thing people don't understand because they don't pull heavy, it tells you when you're going over this bridge, slow down to 5 miles an hour. It may tell you back up all traffic and take up all lanes. So then that brings ushers in the pilot car, which is I'm sure you'll dig into as well, right? But staying on topic with permits, what it does, it allows you to safely transport that load from A to B with the information about that state that you wouldn't have because you're not a resident.
It's like an itinerary, basically.
It's itinerary, exactly.
Got it.
And the information that it entails, you're gonna put, your length, your width, your height, your weight, but then going more in depth, you need to know how much weight you can put on each axle. And that's what you'll provide. It'll ask you about tire width. It'll ask you about axle width. So it's a host of information that they require, and that it's all done basically just to make sure you can safely transport that load. But one of the more important questions they ask you is about tire ratings, because what a lot of people don't understand, they talk about axle rating. Well, the axle is not as much in trouble as the tire, because hypothetically you have a 12,000 pound axle, but you have a 6,600 pound tire, 2 tires on the front. Both of them are 6,600, what is like 13,200, right? It will be the maximum weight. Yeah. Well, they'll give you that leverage if those tires can handle it. So it's not as much a hinge on the axle per se, as long as you're only going over, because a 12,000 pound axle probably realistically is rated for 14. So if you go 13,200, because the tires are rated that much, they'll work with you more often than not. So it's just a lot of information that they take in, and then they process that information, and then they kick out your permit based off the route they want to send you, keeping you off little small bridges, light bridges that can't handle the weight, keeping you out of residential, keeping you on route with truck stops. All this is planned. Truck stops are built on that route. Rest areas are built on that route. And a lot of the times it keeps you off the interstate. So public safety is important. So it's just a lot that comes into it that they want to know. And I love it. I love the permit system. It's extremely helpful.
If you twisted, confused, or stuck about trucks, don't be dumb. This is the place to come. Truck and hustle. Let's go.